work in progress.
Ideas for how to govern autonomous vehicles. You may have heard of Waymo. They're trying to come into Minnesota. There's a giant bill I've been reading through here that's pages and pages about how to govern autonomous vehicles. So that's what they're talking about now, and we're going to listen into this for a little bit.
I would make that motion to move House File 5313 to the Commerce Committee, yes.
All right, so Bill 3513 has been moved to the Commerce Committee. We'll begin with the author's amendment, First Amendment. A12, it's from my understanding, the technical corrections. Mr. Chair, would you like to move that amendment?
I would move the A12 amendment. From the original revision, there's just kind of some sequential things, and so we'll move the A12 amendment.
Any discussion on this amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion prevails. The amendment's adopted. Moving on to the A15 amendment. My understanding is that this is the one where it requires MnDOT to use existing resources. Mr. Chair, would you like to move that amendment?
I will move the A15 amendment, and there was a discussion in working on the bill. There would be some generally insignificant costs incurred by the Department of Public Safety and MnDOT. We will continue to work on the fiscal note as well, as I believe it's just received today. So this amendment has those departments working on the bill, and they believe that they can incur the cost within the department. That's what the A15 amendment does.
Discussion on the amendment. Representative Kraft, really quick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Chair Kosnick. So I like giving a wide lane to folks for an author's amendment and to put it in the form you want it. But this one seems like there's no fiscal note, and you're saying that that MnDOT has to take care of all the costs. It seems like more than a technical getting it in the form you want it.
Mr. Chair, response.
Working with MnDOT and the Department of Public Safety, I've contacted them both about this amendment, so it's not a surprise. But the incidental cost of MnDOT already has a connected autonomous vehicle department. The commissioner will testify a little bit later. The Department of Public Safety has some interactions with the incident response on that. So they've been notified that pretty insignificant, but we'll continue to revise and work on that as well. So again, I would renew the motion for the A15 amendment.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion prevails. The amendment is adopted. Moving on to the next amendment, the author's amendment, the A14, or having to do with the airport, Mr. Chair. To-year amendment.
Thank you. The A14 amendment, and actually deals with the MAC, and this is brought to us from the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. There was language regarding airports. This just adds a little bit more clarifying language that they were hoping to have a better framework, and we would accept their suggestions, and so I move the A14 amendment.
Any discussion on this amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. The motion prevails. The amendment is adopted. All right, Mr. Chair, would you like to go to member amendments or to testifiers now?
I think it'd be best to have the testifiers share their support and concern and ideas, and we can start on there.
That sounds great, Mr. Chair. So
give them some heads up so that they can.
I will give you, I'm going to read them out first, second, third. The first one up is the Commissioner of MnDOT, Nancy Dottenberger. We've got Thomas Kaiser next after her, and then Eric Hansen will be third. Please adjust your positions in this room accordingly for maximum speed and movement. Commissioner, please state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Nancy Daubenberger, and I'm the Commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Transportation. And I am joined today by my colleague, Mr. Thomas Johnson Kaiser. He is not planning to testify, but he is here to help answer questions that you might have for us. And Thomas is with our MnDOT's Connected and Automated Vehicle Policy and Planning Manager role. So first, MnDOT appreciates the Representative Kosnick's bill and the discussion around automated vehicles. And we very much appreciate Representative Kosnick and Representative Cagle's active participation as ex officio members of the government Governor's Council on Connected and Automated Vehicles. MnDOT's always looking for ways to advance technology and to enhance our transportation system by making things safer, increasing transportation options for the people of Minnesota, especially for those who are unable to drive themselves, and providing economic development opportunities. Tara Olds, the MnDOT director of our Office of Connected and Automated Vehicles, or CAV office, shared at your February 18th hearing that MnDOT worked in partnership with our Governor's Council on Connected and Automated Vehicles to help Minnesota plan and prepare for automated vehicles over the last year. MnDOT and the Council undertook a process to prepare for future legislative discussions on this topic. Our work included looking at AV laws around the country and surveying over 20 states, identifying the top and common themes included in legislation and discussion, identifying gaps in our own state laws and identifying needs within those laws, engaging with over 70 stakeholders to understand differing goals and perspectives, and developing council recommendations on how Minnesota should develop AV policy to address our state's needs and opportunities. And this not only includes the Governor's the Governor's Council recommended approach, but also acknowledges and documents differing approaches and differing perspectives of CAV Council members. These recommendations can be found on MnDOT's CAV website. We believe that fully automated vehicles will be a part of Minnesota's very near transportation future, and clear rules and regulations governing the operation of automated vehicles are needed. We appreciate the spirit of Representative Cagle's bill. Based on the council recommendations, there are a few areas we feel need further discussion, including requiring any automated vehicle operator to apply for and receive a permit from MnDOT prior to operating, which is renewed annually. In the permitting process, automated vehicle operators should be required to define their operational design domain. Specifying a detailed enforcement plan and process that empowers the state to suspend, revoke, or cancel the permit of any automated vehicle operator that endangers the public or fails to comply with the requirements of an automated vehicle permit. And clarifying the roles that remote assistance and teleoperations play in automated vehicle operations, and requiring any fully automated vehicle to be registered as an automated vehicle with the Department of Public Safety. We welcome the opportunity to continue the discussion on automated vehicle policy with the bill authors and with the Department of Public Safety as well. We believe policy can be developed to ensure safety on our roadways while also helping Minnesota realize the potential benefits of automated vehicles. And thank you for allowing me to testify. I stand for questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next up, we have Eric Hansen. And then after Eric, we've got Adam Lane and then Cole Davies.
And Mr. Chair, I would note, thank you, Commissioner, for your comments and the department for working on this important technology. They did reach out to us, not in time to incorporate some of those suggestions, so we weren't able to put that together, but I have offered to continue to meet with them as early as this Friday.
Yeah, so if we can, as our testifiers are going, get into a position where you can take that next seat when you're called upon to go. Mr. Hansen, please state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Thank you. My name is Eric Hansen. I'm the CEO of Southwest Transit in Eden Prairie. We're one of the replacement service providers, the so-called opt-outs in the suburbs of the Twin Cities. There's really three things I want to talk about very briefly. One is how our system works, because we do currently operate an autonomous vehicle system in Eden Prairie and have for the last 11 months. A little bit about kind of what this means in terms of our safety, as well as why this bill is important. So we started operating our system under a contract with May Mobility as a company out of Michigan. They also operate another system in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and have been doing that for about 4 years. And we started operating on April 15th of last year. So almost a year into this, and we've transported 27,000 people and gone about 112,000 total miles with this system. It's 7 square miles around what is going to be the terminus for the Green Line at Southwest Station. That is a mobility hub that includes bus service and other microtransit, as well as the train will in about another year. And ultimately, from our perspective, we think it's going pretty well. A couple of reasons why we think that. First of all, we do a thumbs up, thumbs down survey in the app that we use, that people use to hail the ride, because it's a microtransit service, and so it's on demand. And the average person waits about 14 minutes to get that ride, which is pretty fast when you consider that it's a shared ride service in a transit environment. 96% of the people that give us feedback on that app are giving us a thumbs up and telling us they like the service. We were very concerned when we started the service, because we had an existing microtransit service as it was anyway. What is this going to look like from a safety standpoint? Are people going to like it? Or are they going to say, oh, we don't know what this technology is, we're not so sure? But it's kind of amazing that we actually have significantly more ridership, about 140% compared to a year ago in this zone when we implemented this new service compared to the microtransit service that it replaced. So very, very popular service. The second thing we were concerned about was safety. It's the same thing that people have already been talking about in the first place.
Mr. Hansen, if you're going to have 3 things, you need to hurry up.
Sorry. I will say this real quickly. We've had no accidents. We operate about 40 to 60% in autonomy at this point. And the reason why we do that is because with an operator in the vehicle, is because it is important for us to test the system and know exactly what it means before you go completely driver out. And that's why it's important to have a bill like this at the end of the day, because you want to make sure that there's consistent regulations. You want to make sure that you have legitimate, people who really know what they're doing, because this is an emerging technology. You don't want to, you don't want to put people's lives at risk with something like this. And so we want to be very careful about what we do. And so it's a process. And we're very happy that we're part of this process, because this is something that can be a huge benefit, for the transit community. Our service is also completely accessible. Every single one of these vehicles has a wheelchair lift in it as well, and so we transport a number of people who have those needs. It's gone pretty well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hansen.
Thank you.
Next, we got Adam Lane. After him is Cole Davies, then Alex Smith. Thank you so much, Mr. Lane, for being in your position right now, ready to go. Could you please state your name for the record and begin your testimony?
Yes, hi there. Adam Lane. I'm a State and Local Public Policy Manager with Waymo. Good afternoon, Chair Kosnick, Chair Tabke, and honorable members of the committee. My name is Adam Lane. As I mentioned, I'm the State and Local Public Policy Manager for Waymo. I appreciate you letting us testify today in support of HF 3513. I want to begin by extending our gratitude to Chair Kosnick for serving as the chief author of this legislation, and for the 7 other members of this committee who have signed on as co-sponsors. The legislation is a vital step towards getting autonomous vehicles and their proven safety, accessibility, and economic benefits to Minnesota. By passing House File 3513, Minnesota will join more than half the country in enacting a clear framework for commercial deployment of autonomous vehicles. This creates regulatory certainty for companies like Waymo and others to invest in your communities, improve road safety, and offer new mobility options for Minnesotans. We are an autonomous driving technology company with a mission to be the world's most trusted driver. Today, we operate a fully autonomous ride-hailing service in over 10 metropolitan areas across the United States, and we complete over 400,000 paid trips every single week. We're also expanding our service to new cities, including Denver, Detroit, Las Vegas, San Antonio, San Diego, and we also have international operations beginning in London and Tokyo. The Waymo Driver, our autonomous driving system, completes over 4 million miles on a weekly basis. That is 6 human lifetimes every 7 days. And just 2 weeks ago, we reached a new milestone where we've driven over 200 miles fully autonomously. After 127 million miles, we compared our driving to human-driven equivalents and found that we are experiencing 90% fewer serious injury-causing crashes when compared to human drivers. These statistics are highly encouraging and remind us of the important contributions this technology can have to safety. We're incredibly proud of that safety record we've achieved, and the fact that as we speak today, thousands of Americans, many of whom cannot drive their own vehicle, will use our service in their daily lives. We believe that House File 3513 creates a strong framework for AV deployment that balances regulation and innovation. We're extremely grateful for the work that MnDOT and the CAV Council have already completed on this to lay the foundation for the legislation. We look forward to being part of the solution to reduce traffic injuries and fatalities in Minnesota. Thank you, and I respectfully request your support on HF 3513.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lane. Next, we have Cole Davies, then Alex Smith, then Ken Rogers. Mr. Davies, would you please state your name for the record and begin your testimony?
Hello, my name is Cole Davies. I'm 23 years old, graduated from St. John's University last spring, and I've been on the board of directors for the Epilepsy Foundation of Minnesota since the beginning of 2023. At my core, I'm someone who has always sought independence and wanted to help others. Examples from my preteen years include when I was 11 and started pushing so hard to learn how to drive, and at the same age when I started caring for my newborn brother. I was so involved, he called me mama once he learned to speak. When I turned 15, I had my first of hundreds of seizures. My seizures could be described as particularly violent, and that type of thing can be pretty detrimental to someone's independence and their ability to care for others. Driving a car or carrying a baby are just not options anymore. Not being able to legally drive means a lot in my life. It means that in the chaotic job search after college, I repeatedly had to make the choice between missing an interview or spending a third of my money on transportation to and from an interview for a job I'm not likely to get. Not driving is the main thing that makes it so difficult for me to get the medications that keep me alive, and not driving is a major factor in what makes it so difficult for me to get to Mayo, the only place capable of handling my care. It's a 158-mile journey from St. Joseph to Rochester, and I just can't bike that. I've been beyond fortunate to be surrounded by amazing people in my life, and I have even had access to strangers who want to do amazing things for me. That's not even bringing up my wife yet, who, no offense to everyone else who has ever lived, but there's no way someone else is a better spouse. These people in my life are how I have been able to get to job interviews, obtain medications, and make it to important appointments. Even with the people around me, it is still very difficult to get from one place to another. Plus, everybody here needs to understand that not everyone has access to the type of support that I have had. From what I have seen among people like me, my situation is very rare. My not being able to drive is an issue every single day, not just in the cases of getting to an interview, picking up a medication, or going to the doctor. In fact, it was already an issue today. I had to go through several options before I found a maybe, and even then, I didn't know I'd actually be able to get here until an hour before I had to leave. Not being able to legally drive is what causes my drive to work, which is 15 minutes away, to take an hour and a half of working every day, because it takes me an hour in the car, or half an hour in the car to get there, and then my wife spends an hour going there, going back, going there, and going back. Not driving keeps me from heading to the store and coming back 10 minutes later because something was forgotten. Not driving means my wife has to run every errand. Not being able to drive means I will never be able to go out on a diaper run, never be able to make that quick trip to the grocery store and pick up that thing, and never be able to tell my wife, you stay here, I'll pick up the kids from X, Y, or Z. A reliable, easily accessible mode of transportation capable of taking me exactly to where I need to be.
All right, we've been listening into a committee hearing at the state capitol discussing regulation of autonomous vehicles. Waymo is one of those. They have been testing vehicles in the Twin Cities as they hope to expand into Minnesota. There has certainly been pushback to some concerns raised by lawmakers and drivers of ride-sharing vehicles too, who concern about them taking business away, but also concerns from lawmakers about safety here. And this testimony here is about the bill that would regulate how these operate in Minnesota if they are approved to do so.